Part of the reason for the euro hit today, which it's down, the euro is actually down. So, part of the reason is the primary manufacturing index, the PMI, showed for Europe showed a downward revision compared with the first estimate. Eurozone services PMI was downwardly revised from 49.8 to 48.8 compared with a reading of 50.4 in January. You definitely want this over 50. That means it's growth. Below 50 means negative growth. Eurozone services primary manufacturing index is now again at the December 2011 level after returning temporarily back to growth in January. So December we had some problems with the euro too, and that's actually when the metals took some of the biggest hits going. And I know every month it's like, it really is related to this euro. Now, I was assuming that the euro was going to be fine for the elections, but this is another story that, it could be just a temporary thing. But what is really on the horizon is this thing. And, I'm thinking everything's signed off with whatever they have to do with Greece. And I don't like to know every detail on this because it changes too much. The euro traded within 0.1% of a 3-week low against the dollar amid concerns that Greece is struggling to persuade creditors to accept a debt swap by tomorrow, meaning Wednesday, to secure a second bailout package. Now, when markets were changing last night, if you have access to some kind of special markets during non-trading hours like in other countries, you can make out and counteract a lot of things that go on, but I don't have access to that. I know some people do have that type of access. I don't. Now, if it happened during the day, I would have reacted, and it would have been different, but I think when things dropped this much this morning, there's going to be more news that's going to come out. And I also have to go by what Mark Faber says. I know he didn't say this like specifically the way he's emphasizing today. And I don't know about this $1,500 gold, but I think it's going to drop some more now because there's like a momentum going on of bad news, Maybe it's going to bounce a little bit, but I think I'll be able to get in there cheaper. So that's why I sold off. I don't know this for a fact. If I did, well, like I said, you got to work at it. The 17-nation euro remained weaker, reverses the yen following its biggest drop in 4 months before the European Central Bank meets tomorrow, where policymakers are expected to keep interest rate at a record low. Demand for safe haven currencies, such as the dollar and the yen, were buoyed on prospects. Asian stocks will extend losses in global shares. So, getting out of all the risk assets, and I said even gold is a risk asset when the euro takes a hit. I think that the U.S. dollar is going to take a hit at one point in time, even this year. They still have a war with Iran, so I think they're going to screw up. So that might be a curveball coming up. I'm not sure, but I think all these metals are going to make up for lost time. I've been saying this, and maybe I am overly bullish on metals, but I'm not super bullish on them. I don't think I am. I'm just trying to go with reality. So this is something to watch for tomorrow, and I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. People, if they know what's going to happen, they're not going to tell anybody. That's for sure. Now, silver looks like it's down. Well, maybe it's going up. Maybe it's going up. Maybe it's bouncing now. I don't know. It was down like 18 cents just a little bit before. It's not like super bad, but I was looking at this Fibonacci thing. I agree with this a lot of times, but it's not a perfect exact science, but most traders do look at this, and since it exists in nature, so you figure December 28th low was around 27. The high recently was about 37. You're not going to be able to judge. In other words, data. I figured it might bounce a little bit tomorrow because it had such a rotten day today. But, I got to go by what Mark Faber says. Man, it's I listen to him a lot. He's not perfect, but he's not bad. Um, we figure we actually blasted through this level already. We actually were below this level, and I don't know if you really kind of consider it as a closing. You know, we closed at 32.95, so you know during the day it was at 32.37, but actually where it closes is kind of like more important, 32.95. You know, maybe that could be it. I don't know. You never know. I sold out, but you know, but what I'm thinking is if we're gonna have, I think the correction's gonna go a little further. Mark Farber's kind of warning about some of that stuff. I got to go by what he says. Maybe we're looking at these levels in here, 31 or a little bit below that. So today we're sitting right around here. You know, I figured it was going to be bouncing around this range, but of course, when you're seeing something like this, I don't know if this is going to be a bounce point or not because of what's going on with this euro thing. And I don't think the euro is going to fall apart, but there might be some other drama that's going to be coming down the line. It might not even be tomorrow. It might be some other point in time in March, like this March 20th, which could be down here. And it can hit maybe a price around here. The next fib point is actually right around 31 or a little bit below, and that kind of makes sense. It hits this point, this point, this point. I guess there's a lot of areas you could say, but the next fib point would be around a little bit below 31. So it could be in March, and I don't think the euro is going to fall apart, and I think the metal's going to spring back, but I'd like to get them cheaper, and I hope I'm not missing a boat by selling off in the anticipation that I think things are going to drop further. I'm trying to keep a clear head on it, but you never really 100% know what can happen with silver. There's no doubt about that. I looked at these numbers again. I don't know what numbers I picked up before, but I guess this chart is the same thing as before. This was the global manufacturing index, the same stats. I think, I don't know, was picking up some other stats, but the European manufacturing index is down quite a bit. It's below 50. So it's down to levels where it was in December. That took make another hit against the euro. And as far as tomorrow, I think it would be good to watch the markets very carefully because there could be some news coming out, and if you're right on the ball, to make a go with it for just a small period of time and take whatever you can get and get the hell out. That's what I'm looking at. I think this correction, I'd have to say what Mark Farber, Jim Rogers are saying. I don't know if this is the full correction. I don't think it is, and that's why I sold off this morning. And I was trying to ascertain. I don't want to make a panic move, but you know, because I really hold. I mean, I was holding double leverage oil when it was crashing and all this type of stuff, and I can hold this stuff forever, but I don't think I don't want to hold it right now. I changed my mind on that, but it's I got to go with what's going on here with the euro. I think there is going to be some kind of more problems, even though it could bounce tomorrow a little bit. But tomorrow, if this thing turns out like it's looking rosy, I might just jump on it for a few hours and whatever. But I'm basically staying out of silver till I see a little further correction. Because when a guy like Mark Farber's telling me 1,500, he wasn't saying that before. He was thinking maybe still in a correction phase. But pretty much, you got to, you've been handed a new set of cards. So you got to go with it. You got to go with it.